fundamentalists negate that we are in a global economic crisis. And of course, as we're moving into a new financial year, 2022-2023, we need to understand what the coming budget means to the Ugandan population.
Indeed, talking about the crisis, many are wondering how this budget is going to address the issues, the economic problems that many are contending with at the moment. We pick the mind of an expert to find out whether it's actually answering or speaking to those challenges.
Now the budget, it's a 48.1 trillion budget that we're having this year. But I would like to address, I think there are basically two issues I have with the current budget. My first issue is the health sector. The health sector again has received a dismal share of the budget. In terms of development expenditure, it has received 1.4 trillion shillings as compared to the defense sector that has received 2.3 trillion shillings. The Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA, has received 2.5 trillion shillings, but the health sector has received around 1.4 trillion shillings. So this, first of all, does not concur with what the government conceded to in 2001 in Abuja, Nigeria, which is known as the Abuja Declaration. The declaration that the government conceded to says the government should allocate at least 15% of their budgets to the health sector. But apparently the health sector has just received less than 15%, and this has been the trend for the past five years. It has come nowhere close to 15%. But this is disastrous to the country because we basically rely on donor aid to finance our health sector. And for the viewer out there, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, finances over 50% of the health budget, of Uganda's health budget. So we are heavily reliant on donor aid to finance our own health sector. And this signals that we haven't drawn lessons or picked lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic, because our healthcare system was brought to its knees during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I thought the government would draw lessons from the pandemic, but their stance in the budget shows that they have drawn no lessons when it comes to the health sector. Then my other issue is the agriculture sector. The agriculture sector has continued to receive dismal funding when it comes to the budget. It has, in the past financial year, 2021-2022, it received 3.6% of Uganda's budget, which is very low or far below compared to what the Maputo Declaration says of 10%, and that was back in 2003, and then it was reinforced in the Malabo Declaration in Equatorial Guinea in 2014. The World Bank advised African countries to allocate at least 10% of their budgets to the agriculture sector. But then the agriculture sector continues to receive dismal funding from the government. Most of the Ugandans will be disappointed by the budget because the Ugandans were yearning for tax cuts or tax reductions on key commodities like fuel, wheat. Government hasn't increased taxes, of course, but then it hasn't reduced taxes either. So many Ugandans who are anticipating or who are yearning for tax cuts will be disappointed by the budget stance now. From a common man's perspective, the government hasn't done well with the current budget because people are still feeling the inflationary pressures. They're still feeling the inflationary pressures. and we don't know whether it's going to be short term or it's going to go on for quite some time, because it's basically stemming from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, but no one can predict the end to the conflict. So people won't feel the effect of the budget on the economy. The only way they could have failed was if the government had reduced taxes. But again, from the government's perspective, that would be shooting yourself in the foot, because again, you're looking for your budget is 48.1 trillion. So we are still running a deficit budget. So government hasn't increased taxes, but again, they haven't reduced taxes. So people won't feel the effect of the budget. Unless government had reduced taxes, that's when they would have failed, or subsidized the energy sector and to bring the pump prices down. But apparently, we are still on the same trend. Then, what's lacking in the current budget is we are continuing to prioritize loan repayment and infrastructure development in terms of the roads. So government is signaling that it's prioritizing infrastructure over other sectors and debt financing. So, but what should be done is we should increase funding to these sectors, the three priority sectors, which are agriculture, health, and education. The more we finance these sectors, especially agriculture, health, the more we continue to reap from what we have as a country. Because, like they say, agriculture is our backbone. So if you're not financing it well, then we can't expect results. Can we industrialize and compete with the Chinese? Do we have anything we can manufacture better than the Chinese or better than other countries? So we have to basically rely on what we have a comparative advantage in, and that is agriculture. To give you an insight into that, Uganda is ranked number 2 in the whole world in terms of production of organic farming. We are only behind India in terms of organic farming, and we only use 1.7% of our arable land to produce the organic produce. So I think we could, if more funding was allocated to agriculture, we could do better, because we have the land, we have the climate. So that's what we have a comparative advantage in. Besides, if you were to industrialize, I think basically it will be agro-processing.